Hello guys and welcome back to Big Brother, and today we are talking all things triple eviction. I decided to save the review until after the second episode had come out, purely because we watched the triple eviction but then we'd missed the whole last day with them, and I figured, you know what, why not just do it in one? And you know what, turned out to be a good idea because fucking nothing happened in these episodes. Genuinely, I was a little bit disappointed. I feel like the issue with Big Brother on ITV, it's too short. We are 15, 16 days into the experiment now, and it's over in 2 days. That's it. Done. We're done. We're leaving the building. That's it. Lights are being turned off. That's done. I just wish that they had more time, because we're starting to see some interesting dynamics develop. We're starting to see some interesting alliances or rivalries start to form, and there just isn't enough time to explore it. Especially with this triple eviction, you've sucked all of the life out of the house, or all of the sort of tension out of the house, because the 3 people who were causing tension or who were involved in tension have now left the building. It is just a little bit disheartening. I'm hoping that they can write it with the civilian series later on this year. Hopefully, it's at least longer than 6 weeks. I think it should be minimum 8. I think 10's a commitment for us as a viewer. Do you know what I mean? A 10 is a commitment for us as viewers. 8 weeks, 2 months, I think that's fine. I think 10 weeks can get a bit tacky. Especially because, like, you know the US one? That goes on for like 3.5 months, and I love watching that, but it is only 3 episodes a week. Whereas if it's like almost 3 months and I'm watching an episode every single day, that's a lot of commitment. I have to write my plans off for 2.5 months. Are you joking? I can't go out at 9 p.m. on any day because I've got to be sat watching Big Brother. I don't have to be, but I want to be. You know what I mean? Anyway, that was a cheeky little rant to push up the watch time. So let's get into the episode, shall we? So we're going to start by talking about the citizenship test that Jojo was given, and in classic Big Brother fashion, she was told that she had to pass this citizenship test, and the house were told that they had to make her fail it, which was very, very funny. So obviously Jojo's coming in and everyone's sort of like giving her facts about Britain, and some of them were quite tame. Like, every house has a teapot in it by law. I thought, okay, yeah, that seems like an American thing that they could believe. I mean, they believe that we have a tea time alarm. I mean, we do have a tea time alarm, obviously. It's probably going to go off in the next hour. I'll be finished recording by then, though. And then we also had such great lines as "Don't hand a sausage to a royal." Brilliant. Catherine Zeta-Jones was a very famous royal. Hysterical. So many people forgot what they were doing and almost broke the illusion, and people were like, no. And then they were like, oh shit, yeah, fuck. And then my favourite one of the entire thing, it wasn't quite Donna's eel and Yorkshire pudding story, but it had to be that Queen Victoria... Ugh, God, English is not my first language today, apparently. Queen Victoria stole children's teeth to make herself look younger. That is crazy. I cannot believe that Jojo believed it. I genuinely can't, but also hysterical. It just is funny at the end of the day. So, obviously, this whole citizenship test, it went very poorly for her. The only thing that she got remotely correct was the fact that the Queen had corgis, and that's because Jack sort of like fed her a correct line, because obviously they were being too bait with their false answers. There was a moment where him and Chris had a little cheeky bitch in the garden about the efforts on the challenge. I think that Chris stayed well away from Jojo during this challenge and didn't really speak to her because he would have given the game away, whereas everybody else, skilled, deceptive liars. Honestly, I could have spun a yarn. Absolutely, I could have spun a yarn. But anyway, they did get a British-themed party that night. It was cute. I'm kind of over ITV and their parties. I think one a week, maybe, is fine. I also think that just because they're on a sort of like a cheap shopping budget, like an economy shopping budget, doesn't mean that they should have they shouldn't have a party. I think that they can still have a party. They're just not allowed food. Is drink included in the budget, or is that like separate? I don't know. Because I know alcohol isn't included in the budget. Alcohol is just provided, which let's be honest, leads to some very, very interesting things that we will talk about later. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think like the parties are fine, just don't give them food if they're on a cheap economy budget. But they're on a luxury one because they passed the challenge. So you know what? I don't actually care that much. Yeah. Sometimes I watch and I'm like, oh, I should be angry about this, but like I'm actually just not. I can't be. And then I go on Twitter and everyone's mad about it, and I'm like, I actually don't think that it impacts me that much. I just enjoy watching it. I just love this show. So yeah. So it's probably time to talk about the retreat, which really seemed like a cop out from Big Brother. I have to say, did they not have anything planned for this day and they were just like, fuck it, Patsy might be going home, let's get her to do a wellness retreat? Because that's kind of the energy that it was given. It wasn't really giving, oh, this has been planned all along. Because I think it actually would have been funnier to get her to do this a lot earlier in the series and really lean into the silliness of it. But I guess at this point in the series, they were able to lean into sort of like, oh, here's the talking stick. Let's air out all of our frustrations. They did do laughter therapy, which I was... So me and my mum watch Big Brother, right? But we watch it in separate rooms because she talks through it. I like to sit in silence and listen to actually what's going on. So I could just hear her chuckling before, and then I'm chuckling afterwards because it's on a slight delay because she watches it on live TV. I watch it on ITVX. So obviously, I know when something funny is coming up. But when I heard her go, what a load of rubbish, I was like, oh, we're in for a treat. We're in for a treat, guys. We're absolutely in for a treat. And it was laughter therapy. Now, this is something that I did at uni. It was during one of those, like, stupid wellness classes. It was like, oh, it was a bit boring. But, like, laughter therapy actually does work. Because you start laughing, like, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. And everybody else is laughing stupid, ridiculous, fake laughs. But then, because everybody else is doing stupid, fake laughs, it's making you actually laugh. And then suddenly everybody's actually just pissing themselves laughing at each other, doing silly little laughs. And so it does actually work. And it actually does really lift your mood. It's one of those weird things that, like, on the face of it seems really, really strange and like it would never, ever work. But it actually does. And that's the strange thing. They also did, like, some hum and a hum and a ha... hum and a ha in like the bowl, but like I don't really know what that does. Sound bath, is that what it's called? I don't think that's particularly soothing in my mind. Do you know what I mean? If I was sat there, I'd probably be like, oh god, I hate that noise. Hang on, what's going on? My Fitbit is screaming at me. What do you want? Honestly, it heard me talking about wellness and it was like, now is time for you to take a breath, a deep breath, a calm breath. What a load of rubbish, honestly. It's all going on today. What a chaotic episode, guys. But anyway, we did get to the retreat and people aired out their frustrations with each other. Danny and Jojo... Obviously, Danny is upset with Jojo about the whole nominating him for eviction thing. Obviously, I think he has a right to be upset and pissed off. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is a shame that he went through that whole thing. What do you want? Oh, God. It was on the relax thing. Oh, my God. I was like, why you keep on buzzing at me? What's going on here? Right, anyway, back to Danny and Jojo. I think he has a right to be upset, personally. I think Jojo nominated him because she obviously had to. And she wasn't going to nominate Jack. She wasn't going to nominate Chesney. And she wasn't going to nominate Donna. So the only other person she could have nominated was him. And so I feel like from an extent, from like a certain point of view, you have to sit there and you have to be like, okay, this person had to vote me because there was no reason to vote anybody else. I'm the only one that she's had a slight problem with. It makes sense. But from Danny's point of view, I can be pissed off that I made it through every single round of nominations without being nominated. And then this twist gets me nominated. I can understand that. I actually think that with the extent of the first week fuckery with Daly being exempt and Chris being exempt, I do genuinely think that Mickey would have been up regardless of that killer nomination. And actually, I think that maybe Jack might not have been, and it might have been Mickey versus Michael instead of all three of them. So I don't think that affected it too much. But this killer nomination is the only one that kind of messed with the show a little, just a little bit, not too much, but enough to sort of piss Danny off, I guess. So I feel like he was fine in that regard. Then we also had Angelica and Donna with the whole pots and pans. Angelica decided, and like I thought it was a little bit of fun, but then it just went on for a little bit too long. So Angelica obviously heard that her reason for nomination by Donna was, you're a bit too loud in the morning and I'm not a morning person, and it kind of pisses me off a little bit. And so she's essentially was like, fuck it, I'm going to bang some pots and pans. Now, apparently on Late and Live, it was Jojo and Chris that came up with this idea, and Angelica just was like, fuck it, yeah, why not? It'll be funny. And it was meant in jest, but I think Donna was just like, I just told you yesterday, I get pissed off when you're a little bit too happy-clappy in the morning, and you get up and you bang pots and pans around me to wake me up. That would piss me off. And then Donna's on her whole, it's not that deep, it's not that deep, it's not that deep. Which a lot of people have been sort of misconstruing as her playing a character or like hiding her true intentions. I don't think it is that. I think she just realises that I'm overreacting to this situation. It's not that deep, but obviously it's irking me and it's annoying. And I don't want to overreact, but I am. And I think it's one of those things where like, she probably acknowledges the fact that this is not the end of the world, but she needs to just have her moment of, oh, and then she'll be fine. And I feel like she had that moment in the diary room, and she was like, right, I actually feel a little bit better now. And then Big Brother was like, do you not feel like you should have said this to Angelica? And she went, well. So I do feel like Donna, she's an interesting one. I do find her very, very entertaining, and a couple of people have been like, I don't know the real Donna. I don't feel like you can get to know the real anybody on this kind of show, genuinely. I think the only way you can get to know the real somebody is if you spend time with them without the cameras on. And everybody, to an extent, is very aware that there are cameras in the house at all times. I refuse to believe that anybody forgets that there's cameras at any moment in time. I genuinely do, because how can you be in the Big Brother house and not have the immediate first thought of, oh, this is being televised? How is that not your first thought, being in the Big Brother house? How do you forget? I genuinely don't understand. I genuinely don't. So that's a conversation for another day. So it is time to talk about the 3 evictees. And up first, in 9th place, we did have Angelica Bell. Now, I've got to say, Angelica Bell, I think she needs to get like a week's residence on Big Brother Late and Live. She is fantastic on that show. Like, genuinely, I was so impressed with her that actually I forgot that AJ was a part of the show. Do you know what I mean? The way she so seamlessly slipped into that reporting role with Will, I literally was like, damn, my God, we missed out on having Angelica Bell as the front runner of this show. Do you know what I mean? As like the leading person of this show. Because there was a moment in Late and Live, I think it was last night, where they were reading something out, and there was obviously on the auto cue, both say together. Now, if this was Will and AJ, they could not have synced it up to save their life. Okay, they could not have. It would have been all out of sync. It would have been all over the place. But Angelica Bell, he was talking, and she just said it literally at the exact same syllable that he did. That's a professional. 25 years reading off an auto cue. She is a professional. She knows what she's doing. And it was just so seamless. But also, she's so crazy. When she started like hitting Will with the paddle, I was losing myself. I was absolutely wet myself. And I was sad that we didn't get to see more of that Angelica in the house. Now, obviously, I do believe that that is the real Angelica, and that maybe in the house, obviously, we saw a lot of her downtime, not necessarily all of her energetic moments, because that could have been edited out. It's always interesting to see how people react coming out of the house, because I'm like, okay, this seems like your kind of domain. I don't know. It was still fun. She was just happy to be invited on the show, I feel like. She was just... I feel like she has this kind of complex of, I'm not a real celebrity, so therefore, why would I be doing this show? But, like, loads of people know your name. I knew Angelica Bell before you came in here. The only people I didn't really know before coming in here were Mickey Rourke, because I was like, who the fuck is this man? And then I looked and I was like, oh, I know him from like Iron Man 2, I guess. But like, apart from that, I didn't really know him. And then Michael Fabricant, didn't really know. Iconic individual. Honestly, he should be invited back. Then Ella. But also, like, I'm kind of glad I got to know Ella because she did kind of make this series a little bit better. After Mickey left, I was really worried that there'd be a lull. But then she stepped in and she was like, yeah, let's pick this up. I'm going to cause drama. I'm going to be bitchy. Yeah, let's do this. I don't know whether it was intentional, but it worked out well. Gave us someone to dislike for a week, which was great. So I feel like, yeah, Angelica Bell, she needs to get over her insecurities, which obviously is a really horrible thing for me to say. But I feel like her insecurity is she's not famous enough. I hope that this has proved to her that she is. So Ella was out next in 8th place, and obviously I feel like she knew that it was her time to go. She knew. She absolutely knew. And honestly, I feel like Ella's time in the house, I've seen a lot of people compare her to Ekin-Su, but I still hold the regard that Ekin-Su was just edited poorly. Like, very poorly. I think that the producers were hoping that she would open up about her ex, open up about her time on Love Island, and when she shut those two things down, they decided to show all of her shady moments and show none of her good stuff, which is why when she came out and she was like blaming it on the edit, I think you can blame it on the edit if you haven't seen it, because I was the one living my life in the house. I know what I did in that house, so why am I getting booed? What has been shown, what has been edited, what has been made out for people to be booing me? Does that make sense? I think from that point of view, she was very astute in knowing, well, I'm getting booed, so clearly something's been shown that people don't like, and I don't know what that is. And that's fair and valid. Some people come out and they're like, yeah, fair, I was a bit of a dickhead in the house, or they're confronted with being a dickhead. Honestly, I think Ekin-Su was treated very poorly, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, okay? That's just my opinion. Ella, I think, is the complete opposite. I think that actually she leaned into that reality TV villain a little bit too much, but also very conscious of the fact that, like, she probably knew that this was not going to come across very well, but she was like, fuck it, I want the airtime. And you know what? Fair and valid. She could have easily come in here, got with Chris, and been like a cheeky romance for 2 weeks. Cool. But that would have been fucking miserably boring. Instead, what we got was a jealousy arc, which was so entertaining, guys. I cannot tell you how entertaining it was to see Ella cut up and bent out of shape at the fact that Chris wasn't interested in her and was interested in Jojo instead, as a friend, obviously. Oh my god, it was genuinely so great to watch. And Ella, as much as I disliked you at times in the house, I think you actually might be one of the better housemates this year, especially for entertainment, just because you gave us that person to dislike. Obviously, I don't think you are a bad person at all. I don't know why I'm talking to you like you're going to be watching the video, but I just think that she was so entertaining in that respect, especially from someone that I didn't know going in, and I was like, who is this woman? She actually turned out to be a very, very key part of this series and a key part in making this series so dramatic and entertaining. So last but not least, we do have our queen, Patsy. I was hoping it would be Chris, just so that the dynamics in the house would change. I feel like keeping Chris and Jojo in, we're just peddling the same dynamic of Chris and Jojo off in one corner, potentially with Jack. Then you've got Danny, Donna, who are off in their own world with Chesney. It just feels like it would be a little bit less cohesive if Chris went and Patsy stayed, because then I feel like everyone would kind of mingle with everyone, whereas I'm not seeing that gonna happen for the last couple of days. But anyway, it is what it is. Queen Patsy, she's out. This woman, she ain't taking no shit from nobody. They tried to bring up that broccoli and she death-glared them. She was like, don't, because I will walk out of this. It was harkening back to the whole GMB scandal when she was like, I don't like what's written down here, so I'm just going to go. Shut her laptop. And everyone was like, what? Huh? What is going on here? Honestly, Patsy Palmer is an icon. She absolutely is. She's so entertaining. She's so funny. Honestly, just amazing, amazing individual. And she's very funny as well, actually. Just by accident, I feel like. I don't think like she tries to be funny, but she just makes me chuckle with some of the things that she says and does. But yeah, honestly, iconic. Again, I feel like we've sucked all of the drama out of the house now. Obviously, Angelica was having issues with Donna. We had Ella having issues with Chris. We've still got Danny and Jojo, but like I feel like that one, it's kind of played out. Do you know what I mean? Because it was all about the eviction rather than just like them in general. So I feel like, and Patsy, obviously, bringing everyone's mood down. When she screamed like she'd won the show when she got evicted, I howled. Honestly, the funniest thing in the world. But anyway, that is all we got time for in the main content of the episode. Let's move on to some funny quotes and moments, and then we'll end the video. So just some cheeky, funny quotes and moments before we end the episode. Danny seeing to Donna outside, stretching her out. That was genuinely hysterical. Danny breaking Donna's bed. You're sensing a theme here. I feel like you're sensing a very, very big theme. Danny getting drunk and Donna having to tuck him into bed. And also recreating a sex party for Chesney. That was a particularly odd moment of the episode, I have to say. But you know what? We'll go with it. Danny was very, very drunk, which was funny. We also had Chris and Jack making each other gag whilst clenching their fists. Again, strange moments. Honestly, I feel like we need to keep them in for another 2 weeks just to really see them crack. They'll end up being animals in a moment. Like the whole George Galloway meow, meow. And then, last but not least, we had Jojo talking about her alter ego. No, I'm not talking about Jojo Siwa. I'm talking about Radical Rick, which is when she gets drunk. I remember there was like a massive news story about her getting drunk at Disneyland. I kind of want to see Radical Rick, I can't lie. But that is all we've got time for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well. And I will see you guys in the next episode, whenever that may be, which, let's be honest, I'll probably be doing it on Saturday. Yeah. I'll probably do Thursday and Friday's episode as one. Yeah. Because I can't see tonight's being, like, enough to warrant an entire episode, because they're doing Letters from Home. And you know me, I fucking hate Letters from Home. Oh, God, what a waste of airtime. But anyway, it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Keep on ranting. Bye now.